Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. We are busy. We are really busy. You could expect a lot of videos coming out from this channel in the next couple of months. Just so many projects to do, and then all kinds of lasers and different things as well. So obviously, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do a lot of fun things. Basics to advanced, which is kind of, I'm on this journey too, right? I mean, you can see, I showed you, I made a video showing you embossing leather, and I'm completely addicted. I actually have some new embossing folders that I've got too. These things are so gorgeous and they feel so good. And even though I've got a million projects to do, I'm still obsessed with doing this. But today I really wanted to get the white tile video out to everyone. If you look this up and you're trying to learn more, you will obviously see Norton white tile. As far as I can tell, that had to do with spray paint, regular old spray paint, and you had to use chemicals to get it off. What a pain in the butt. Wasn't interesting to me. I just didn't want to have to go through that. Maybe some of you are similar, it's like, hey, I want to create new stuff, but I don't want to create so much more work for myself. I'm always thinking of the end when I'm making something, whether it be just for fun or for business. It's like, there are so many different techniques I can use. I'm going to use the one that makes the most sense for me and doesn't, take ridiculous amount of time. Like the video I just made a little bit about doing the layers, right? It's like I stopped doing layered projects because literally painting each layer and then waiting for them to dry and then finishing them and everything. And then you could make one mistake and destroy all that work. It just wasn't, even if it was as profitable, which it wasn't, it just wasn't worth the effort. So when it came to the white tile, I took another look at it and I saw people were using two things. One, marking spray, which looked really easy. And then I saw people using airbrush, which looked really not easy. But I could see, like, if you're going to be doing 100 of them, that might be the way to go. But why start out with difficult when you don't even know if you like it yet? So I, in my infinite wisdom, of course, decided, hey, I'm going with the marking spray and we're just going to get it done. So I actually wanted to try a couple of different marking sprays. I mean, do they all work the same, right? I mean, so I got two of the ones I could get at my local store, which was the Seymour brand. And then I got Rust-Oleum, which seems to be the one everybody was using. And on one thing I saw, it said, get the one that washes off with water. I couldn't find that, so I just got this one. And spoiler alert, it works great. So if you're going to the store and you're like, oh, it doesn't say washes off with water because there was like a little blue tag or something, don't worry about that. But there's some other mistakes or thoughts that I'm going to bring up later. I mean, when you do any technique, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to think, oh, I should have done it this way. And that is the value of watching the video, right? I mean, come on, please learn from my mistakes. In the end, I think, and these are just a couple of my tests, they came out gorgeous. They're fantastic. I got no complaints. I made a bigger one of these and I'm giving that away as a gift. But you could see that you would be able to do this as a business as well. Weddings, different things. I mean, my goodness, people, especially real estate. Can you imagine? You give away, a piece of tile they can put into whatever they're building. Anyway, who knows? Just a million different things you could think of. So I think it's a technique that everybody should know and should learn about, at least so that when it comes up, you'll be like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, no problem. So the first thing I did, I'll show you some of me actually doing it. I tried the Seymour. Problem is I could see less. That's just not going to cut it. So right away, I think don't buy Seymour unless I just made some sort of huge error that I can't understand, because this is the exact same test in Rust-Oleum. So what I did, I just went into Laser Tools in Lightburn and went to Material Test. And I made my own little test here. I do have CO2 and diode tests that I do, and you can change the parameters and do whatever you want here. So that's what I did. And so I just made a general test, as you could see, just basics. I mean, this is obviously something else everybody should know how to do, right? It's very important. And so whatever kind of software you have, just learning how to make sure you can make test grids so you're not wasting material. And you can also make these quite a bit smaller. Like the width doesn't have to be 5mm by 5mm. Say you want to make a smaller grid. It doesn't have to be 10 columns or 10 rows. You can mess with this stuff. Take away the texts, whatever you got to do. Just, especially for leather and things, you don't want to be making these huge test grids on Italian leather. Just my opinion. Anyway, so that's what I did. And once I was comfortable with that, I kind of took these numbers as you do and decided I was going to make the tests. A couple of things that I learned. White is probably not the best way to go. As you see in some of these other videos, when they do it with the airbrush, they kind of throw a little bit of tint in there so they could see where it was sprayed and making sure it was even. Marking spray does come in different colors. So if had I to do it over again, I would have tested some Rust-Oleum in different shades, maybe a yellow, a light yellow or something. I know they come in like super orange and yellow, but I don't think you need to spray it so thick. I made two coats on mine just to be sure, because it's white and I can't tell if everything's covered super well. So with a color, you'll be able to tell that it's covered, and probably be able to do it in one spray, because this is a really heavy spray. So one coat is probably sufficient. And that adds to the other thing, which is time to dry. The only big mistake I made was, even though I waited an hour, it wasn't dry yet. And I could tell it wasn't dry yet. I just thought, what's going on? Why isn't it? I'm in a dry area. I figured it should be dry. Well, that area didn't work well. So from then on, I just waited till overnight just to make sure. And I put it somewhere where the dust wasn't going to fall on top of it. So that goes back to the beginning of this, actually. I hope you've made it this far. Is what you want to do first is wipe it off with alcohol. That's what I did. I just wiped it off with alcohol to make sure it was completely clean, no grease, no nothing on there. I let that dry, and then I painted it with the marking spray. Then I have a little, just get a little plastic bucket or something like that with a cover and just put it in there or something so that no dust can get on it. Probably doesn't matter, honestly, with the dust. And then just do it the next day, or make sure that it's completely dry. You don't really want to touch it. This stuff comes off pretty easy. So you don't want to touch it or anything once you've painted it. You don't want to test with your finger to see if it's dry or something. That would be the less than the best ever. You might have to do it over again. So the next thing I would say is air for me worked good. Didn't seem to make any difference as far as the depth of the cut or whatever. And it actually looks worse when it comes off the laser engraver than when you don't use air. But for some reason, it just felt a little better to me. I guess you can go back and forth, but neither way seemed to make much difference as far as how it looked. It just seemed like it would blow away the excess away. I don't know. But in the end, turned really good. I ended up using I'm using a 40-watt diode, and I think around 7,000 to 8,000 millimeters per minute at like 90% power worked really, really well for me. And then you see I did a picture, and then I also did just a graphic because I wanted to see is there a difference? You know, with a picture, it's a lot more difficult. So I would advise people probably you try making a graphic first. I did the picture first, which took me a little more trial and error. But when you do a graphic, you'll really see, you know, if your top number, you know, is getting a good deep engrave. And this is just an image with using Stucky, and it is permanent as you can imagine. I mean, I already took like a screwdriver. I tried to get it off. It's not coming off. It is permanent. One of the really nice things about this technique, super, super permanent. You don't have to worry about it. It can be outside, all these kinds of things. And that's actually where this one's probably going to be going outside in a family yard. So perfect. So what are my conclusions? This will come in handy for sure for anybody, but mostly, you know, obviously as a business, just being able to do this is probably going to come in handy at some point. It's pretty cheap and it's pretty easy. I mean, these tiles are pretty easy to get. I got them from my local store. Just pay attention. And all tiles might not be the same. I just grabbed these, but these are tiles that don't have the little tabs. Sometimes they'll have little tabs on the sides. I didn't want that, so I found the ones that didn't. Wasn't too hard. But if you use the same exact technique that I did and it doesn't work, then there might be a chance that it's the wrong tile. I have heard of some tiles that have some sort of plastic coating on them or something. That would be terrible. I kind of tried to make sure that this didn't have anything like that, but these were cheap. You know, these are very cheap, very easy to get. In bulk, you could get them even way cheaper. And the spray, you know, is going to last you a long time. You could do, you know, 50 of these with one can probably. So when you really get down to it, once you've got your settings down, settings are everything, as I always say, you really could go to town on this and make a ton. Downside as a business, if you're carrying a bunch of these with you, chances of breaking them are pretty high. So maybe made to order might actually be better. Some of you out there, though, you do the stone coasters and things like that, and it's the same deal. You know, breakage is just something that happens. I personally just don't like to deal with that. I don't really do a lot of breakables in my inventory because I'm kind of klutzy and I like to break stuff. It's kind of fun, let's be real. But it is a unique and practical gift. And I just noticed these say USA on them, so maybe that'll help. I don't know. Anyhow, let me know what you think and what you've learned. If anybody knows more than me, obviously there's a lot of people that do out there who have probably been doing this for a long time. If I missed anything, please put it below in a comment so other people can see it. Maybe I'll even pin it. And I didn't talk a lot about doing the air sprayer because honestly, I think that's, again, a huge pain in the butt to start with. If you're doing a ton of these and this is your business, of course, you're probably going to graduate to doing that. And maybe I will at some point. But at this point, I'm happy with the way things turned out. I am going to get back to all these other projects. So hopefully you will see more videos coming soon. And I'll see you in the next one. Love you all.